And if it's jail, well, I'll go there with my head held high.
Tonight, they fought to protect their way of life at Muskrat Falls. Now they wait for the sentence from the judge. The Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations remains in the spotlight as delegates choose their leaders.
The exhibition we have out right now is never before seen.
And world-renowned art goes on display at a new center in Cape Dorset. Good evening, welcome to APTN National News. I'm Dennis Ward. The Lubicon Lake Band in Alberta will finally be getting land they've been fighting for over 80 years. The band did not sign Treaty 8 in 1899 and never received land for a reserve. Now the band has signed an agreement with the federal and Alberta governments that gives them about 245 square kilometers of land. They also will receive $121 million in federal and provincial payouts and money to improve infrastructure.
That they have truly felt they have been left out and forgotten people for many years, have not had the benefits of supports for infrastructure, schooling, roads, housing, all of the things that they have aspirations for to build a strong community. And now here they have it. They have a strong agreement that's going to provide them with some of the basic necessities right into being at the table when all of the future decisions are made.
The Supreme Court of British Columbia has dismissed an injunction application that would have stopped work on the controversial Site C Dam. Moberly Lake First Nation and Prophet River First Nation claim the project infringed on their treaty rights. BC Supreme Court Justice Warren Millman rejected the application, saying an injunction order would send the project into disarray. The multi-billion-dollar hydro project will flood 100 kilometers of the Peace River Valley and cost taxpayers over $11 billion to build.
We have to realize this is the third major power generating dam in their traditional territories. My question to Canada is, when is enough in terms of any group of First Nations or individual First Nations in terms of infringement on their Aboriginal rights? Because certainly flooding an area the size of downtown Winnipeg or 100 kilometers of river and pristine valley represents a clear impact to the way that they've lived since the beginning of time.
Land protectors in Labrador have been silently sitting in a courtroom listening to their accuser. They say they've done nothing wrong, that they were just protecting the land. Nalcor, the Crown Corporation building the controversial Muskrat Falls Hydro Dam, disagrees. Here's Angel Moore.
17 land protectors are accused of breaching an injunction to stay away from Muskrat Falls. Looking back, Kim Campbell-McLean felt it was worth it.
We were peaceful, we performed ceremony, we made our points clear, we stood up and we made people listen.
Nalcor presented video after video along with testimony from their security guards to identify the protectors. Marjorie Flowers is well known to Nalcor.
You hurt me!
She spent 10 days in jail and nearly a month on house arrest for trying to stop Muskrat Falls.
And then have that much information in the courtroom to determine, that I was there or whoever was there, it's just overkill, as it always is with Nalcor.
Dennis Burden says it's time corporations stop destroying the planet to make money.
They poison our food supply, they chop down our forests, they pollute our waters, even the air we breathe is affected by this.
The judge is expected to hand down sentencing on Friday.
I'm prepared to take what the system wants to throw at me, and if it's jail, well, I'll go there with my head held high.
Nalcor finished presenting, except for one witness who could not make it to court. Mark Grucci, lawyer for land protectors, asked the court to recess until Thursday morning so he can consult with his clients and review evidence.
The nature of the case and the nature of the evidence that I intend to lead, I don't think is going to be unduly impacted by this issue.
Court will continue on Thursday with the defense presenting. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Goose Bay.
And we want to hear what you think. Here's how to continue the conversation. Send your emails to news@aptn.ca. Find us online at aptnnews.ca and on youtube.com/APTN News. You can also follow APTN News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest Indigenous news. Big Stone Cree Nation in northern Alberta has come under criticism because the chief and council gave themselves a large bonus. Now, one council member who refused the money says the cash could have been put to better use for the community. APTN's Chris Stewart has the story.
Hard to say that we have over.
Travis Gladue says that Big Stone Cree Nation's administration has not been forthcoming with council decisions. He is a member living in Edmonton. Gladue provided APTN with documents from a council meeting in September that showed a $60,000 bonus to chief and council. The resolution reads, moved by Chief Gordon T. Auger that chief and council receive a bonus of $60,000 each for successful negotiations and operations of Mistini Aboriginal Contracted Limited. Seconded by Bert Aluk. 5 in favor, 2 against. Motion carried. Mistini is a band-owned entity with a board of directors consisting of the chief and council.
I think that when it comes to band-owned entities, band members are stakeholders, and that is membership finances. For council to go ahead and just award themselves without consulting the members, is ethically and morally causes some issues.
Dr. Josie Auger is on the council. She voted against the bonus and says she did not take it.
The bonuses would have amounted to, with 11 councillors and the chief, it would have amounted to $660,000, and it was really excessive, and I felt it was wrong.
The band also currently awards a transition allowance when chief or council leave office. The chief would receive $80,000 upon leaving office, and council $70,000. APTN spoke to Chief Gordon Auger in Edmonton. He did not want to be on camera, but did allow his audio to be recorded. He says that the money for the bonuses and transition allowance is not coming from band funds. He told APTN that his salary was lower than most chiefs across Canada.
Some of the chiefs in southern Alberta get $170,000 a year or whatever, and then we get, in our nation, none of us exceed, we're only about 90 chief and 80 for council. So I said, this is a supplementary.
Chief Auger says that since his time in and out of office since the 1990s, he has raised $3 billion in revenue for Big Stone, and that he and council deserve the bonus.
What does a CEO get in Calgary a year? $365,000? I did a lot better than the CEO. What did I get? A kick in the boot and complaints. And I work 7 days a week, 5, round the clock.
Elections for chief and council are on October 29th. Chief Auger will not be running. He will be getting that $80,000 transition allowance on top of the $60,000 bonus. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Big Stone, Cree Nation.
The delegates in Saskatchewan have given Bobby Cameron a second term. The embattled Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations, more commonly known as FSIN, held its vote in Saskatoon today. Cameron won in a landslide victory with 727 votes. His opponent, Delbert Wapass, received 216 votes. The FSIN represents 74 First Nations across Saskatchewan, and the organization has been under a lot of scrutiny lately. Last month, police were called into the FSIN offices for reasons still unknown to APTN. In an unrelated matter, Saskatoon police confirmed they are investigating an individual or individuals at FSIN. And media have reported this week FSIN paid ransom money to a hacker. We'll have a full report on those election results tomorrow. Time for a quick break, and then we're off to Akwesasne for a look at a First Nations company going its own way in the cannabis market. But first, here's a look at tonight's Nation to Nation.
Hello, I'm Todd Lamoran, and here's what's coming up on Nation to Nation. Yesterday, the Indigenous Affairs Committee grilled civil servants over the gap in graduation rates. It was the result of a report that said the gap has actually widened over the last 15 years. The suggestion is that heads should roll over in Indigenous services. We'll see what our panel of MPs thinks. As well, more and more children are being caught up in foster care in the Northwest Territories. It's increasingly being described as a disaster. That's coming up right after the national news.
Here's a look at Friday's weather forecast starting on the East Coast. +3 in sun for Fredericton, rain and 3 above for Charlottetown. A rain-snow mix for Happy Valley Goose Bay and a high of +4. Rain and snow for Nain and a high of 2. +6 under sunny skies for Montreal. Rain and snow and a high of 0 for Saguenay. 10 with showers in Toronto. Partly cloudy and 11 in Windsor. 5 with rain in Thunder Bay. Rain-snow mix and +2 in Wawa. In northern Manitoba, +2 in Thompson and Puckatawagan. Rain and 5 above for the Paw. In Winnipeg, 10 with rain, 11 with rain for Brandon and Dauphin. Sunny skies again in Saskatchewan, 14 above for Swift Current, 13 in Estevan, 12 in Regina. +5 in rain for Uranium City and Stony Rapids. Welcome back. Investigative reporter Holly Moore has been working on a story about 5 missing women in the Okanagan Valley. Her episode Dark Valley recently aired on APTN Investigates, and she has a surprising update from the family of Ashley Simpson. Holly, thanks for taking some time to be here with us. Can you give us a little update on what has happened here?
Sure. So I had a call from John Simpson, Ashley's dad, to let me know that her driver's license had been found at a lodge where she formerly worked. It had been found in the septic truck, like a vacuum septic truck that takes waste out of individual cabins. Ashley's mother, Cindy, actually got a picture of the ID on Facebook, and then it was sent to her in the mail. So right now it's in an envelope on their kitchen table, and they're waiting for the RCMP to come and pick it up. Yeah.
What have the RCMP had to say about the license being found?
Well, the RCMP does not tell us much. They did tell us they've confirmed that the license was found and that it was found at a location 1,250 kilometers away from where Ashley was last seen in the Okanagan Valley. They haven't told us what kind of condition the license is in, but the family has told us that the license is in great condition. And so they're very confused as to why, if this license was in sewage for about 2 years, why it's clean. So it's really raised a lot of questions for the family. They're very puzzled by this. And of course, it's the first physical piece of physical evidence that has been linked to the missing woman. So, yeah.
How does that, make the family feel, having this piece of evidence of their daughter's ID on their kitchen table now?
Every strand of hope they're hanging on to. And so this is now the first physical tie to her since she went missing. So you can imagine it's agonizing. It's raised a number of questions. Ashley had been working up there with her boyfriend, Derek Favel. It's reminding them of a time when she was alive and working at this lodge, very vibrant. But it's also pointing in different directions, so they're not sure what it means. The RCMP in Fort St. John have gone up and done an investigation, but they really don't know what this piece of the puzzle, how it fits into the whole picture.
It is quite a mystery, and Holly, I'm sure you'll stay on it for us. You can watch Holly and Rob Smith's full episode online at aptnnews.ca/investigates. Holly, thanks for bringing us this update.
Thanks so much.
APTN Investigates continues their 10th season tomorrow night with Necessary Force. APTN National News reporter Tom Fenario went to the remote area of northern Quebec called Inukjuak. There he talked to people about their violent interactions with the Kativik police. Here's a preview.
Ali Kingelik was paralyzed by a police shooting in 2014. A year later, his younger brother Jimmy was killed after he went into the Inukjuak police station with an axe. Their mother Elizabeth says 27-year-old Jimmy was angry about his brother's shooting. But after a shed fire that left him severely burned to the point of being handicapped, she doesn't see how Jimmy could have posed much of a threat to police. The coroner's report says police shot 5 times, hitting Kingelik with 4 bullets, the last of which killed him. It does confirm, through security camera footage from inside this police station, that after being hit twice, Kingelik fell and tried to get up before being shot twice again. What the family has trouble grasping is why police didn't disarm Jimmy after the first bullets knocked him down. Elizabeth Kingelik says that she's been waiting eagerly on the investigation being done on her son's death to find out. But the investigation had already been completed in 2016. She just hadn't been told about it. We told her the officers had been found to be acting correctly.
You can catch Tom's entire episode tomorrow night after the APTN National News. A First Nations company that's taken a different route in the marijuana market is well on its way. Here's Annette Francis with more on where some new plants will soon sprout.
It's hard to believe that this old water factory in Akwesasne has gone from this to this. It's a multi-million-dollar project that started over 4 years ago. Former Akwesasne Mohawk Police Chief Lewis Mitchell is overseeing the operation. As the president of Seven Leaf, he feels proud of what they've accomplished.
We are the first First Nation licensed producer of medical cannabis in Canada.
Seven Leaf received its license from Health Canada in September, but it will be a while before there's any cannabis production in these rooms.
We have to go to another Health Canada licensed producer for our starting material. So that we've got that already done. We're waiting for a 5 to 6 week turnaround time to get the starting materials and the cuttings to begin growing. Each grow cycle is a 120-day grow cycle from propagation rate to harvest.
Mitchell says although it's still early, the community is benefiting from the medical marijuana facility.
We're employing 24 people from Akwesasne. That's phase 1. Once we're fully complete, once the complete build-out is finished, for maximum capacity, we expect to hire 75 people from this community.
Akwesasne Grand Chief Abram Benedict sees it as a positive contribution.
Well, I think that there's a lot of economic opportunity that will come from having a grower on our territory. There's a number of jobs that will be created. This is one of the first on-reserve licensed, wholly owned by Indigenous people in Canada, so we're quite proud of that.
Although Seven Leaf just opened its doors for production, it's already started to expand.
The second phase is on the second floor here. We're already beginning, all the construction is moving up there, and we're going to focus on that next and get that ready. We have then from there phase 3, which is the third quarter of our building, and lastly phase 4 to finish off the entire building. We're expecting to complete construction by the end of 2019.
According to Mitchell, the first harvest of the licensed cannabis will be available in the spring of 2019. Annette Francis, APTN National News, Akwesasne.
World-class art in Cape Dorset has a new home. More on that coming up after the break. Stay with us. Here's the rest of Friday's weather forecast, picking back up in northern Alberta. Sunny skies and 10 for Fort McMurray, 11 in Peace River. Beautiful to the south, 16 under sunny skies for Medicine Hat, 14 with the sun out in Calgary. Rain on the west coast, 15 for Campbell River, Vancouver, and Kamloops. Sunny and +6 in Fort Nelson, 10 above with showers in Prince George. In the Yukon, 6 under sunny skies for Whitehorse, 5 in Mayo, 3 for Watson Lake. 9 above for Fort Liard and Trout Lake with the sun out, 6 for Fort Simpson, -6 in Sax Harbor, -4 almost everywhere else, including Colville Lake and Pulatuck. -4 as well in Chesterfield with snow, -13 for Repulse Bay, snow and -4 in Baker Lake, -12 for Aglulic, -15 for Resolute. Welcome back. Cape Dorset Nunavut has been producing world-class Inuit art for almost 60 years. Our Ken Driscoll spent some time recently in the small Nunavut community of about 1,400 people and visited a new facility with a lot of history.
The artistic roots of Cape Dorset aren't hard to find. Just look around. This is the community hall with its own unique look. This is the old print shop. You can tell a community is filled with artists when even the safety signs are telling a story. The new cultural center opened a few months ago. It looks a little plain from the outside, but inside, well, see for yourself. The center is named for Kanujwak Ashivak. Let's put it this way. If you only know one piece of Inuit art, it is likely hers, and it's probably this one. Enchanted Owl hangs here at the center, and it's also been made into a postage stamp. Louisa Parr runs the Cultural Center and co-curated the Ashivak exhibit. She has artists on both sides of her family. She even knew Ashivak when she was younger.
She was extraordinary. She was very kind. She's never had anything bad to say about anybody. You know, she was kind of old-fashioned, but, you know, also very famous.
Make no mistake, this is a world-class facility, a thing Nunavut has very few of, and Parr appreciates that fact.
It's amazing. It's been a dream for a long time now. I remember my grandfather kind of talking about it when I was younger and when he was alive, right? So to actually see it up and running is amazing. It's a dream come true.
Ashivak's original drawings hang here, and so are the color prints that her fellow Dorset artists made stand out.
The exhibition we have out right now is never before seen. They were never before seen before the opening. So when FSIN Eskimo Co-op bought them, they went into archives, into Toronto Dorset Fine Arts, which is another office for FSIN Eskimo Co-op.
Edition numbered prints in Cape Dorset for 59 years. But this year, with this cultural center opening, there's enough space to display this Inuit art in the Inuit community that created it. And the Cultural Center gives the next generation of Inuit artists a place to appreciate the previous ones. Ken Driscoll, APTN National News, Cape Dorset.
Some great looking art. That's your APTN National News for this Thursday. For more, including the latest on the re-election of Bobby Cameron as chief of the FSIN, visit our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.